We are back on Inside Politics, talking today with Nashville Democratic Congressman Jim Cooper. Congressman, the president recently authorized an American drone strike that killed the top Iranian general. He was in Iraq at the time. Congress feels like they want to try to, they've been tried this several times, trying to get their ability back to declare war. They haven't declared war officially since World War II. The House has passed a resolution, but it appears to be just memorializing. It's not clear what the Senate's going to do on it. They're looking at passing one as well. Why can't Congress get their act together if they want to take back the power to declare war and do it?
Well, this is actually one of the few areas of bipartisan agreement because
But not enough bipartisan agreement to overcome a veto.
Well, we'll see about that.
At least not yet.
I've never seen Republican senators like Mike Lee, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, and others speak up so strongly against the president. This really is an issue of the Constitution. It's shameful what Congress has failed to do in the last few decades.
But doesn't the impeachment trial kind of put a shadow on that and actually slow down anything that might go on between the House and the Senate about war powers? Because everything in Washington, the House will still be in session. The Senate's going to be completely tied up doing nothing but impeachment.
Well, but you see the Senate, they just passed the USMCA, the Trade Deal Act. We are able to walk and chew gum at the same time. And now it's hard, especially with the trial going on in the Senate. But I think you're going to see an increasing consensus because most Americans I talk to are upset about these unnecessary foreign wars. We don't mind getting involved when we have to, but wars that last 20 years and don't accomplish anything, that's truly discouraging.
It's probably going to be upset if this trial winds up with the president being exonerated. Is there going to be a backlash against Democrats? Don't you endanger your majority in the House, much less losing the opportunity to take back the Senate or the White House?
Backlash is entirely possible. I urged my voters for months and months to consider the boomerang effect because you don't want to throw boomerangs. You want to try to find truth and justice. But the evidence became so overwhelming, especially on the Ukraine thing, when basically all the witnesses are unanimous that the president not only knew this, he engineered this. This is wrong because the president should not be working hard to help Vladimir Putin. In
your own political race, you have two from the left part of your party running against you in the primary coming up in August. They're basically criticizing you because you haven't been progressive enough, and now suddenly you're supporting some kind of Green New Deal legislation. What do you say to those people who say you're a Johnny-come-lately on some of the progressive issues?
Well, Pat, I already have at least 4 opponents, and there'll probably be more than that. I welcome competition. I like all my opponents. They're fine people. They represent themselves very well. More power to them. Let's have a good race.
If you win in November, will you be the last Democratic congressman elected from this district? Because it's a pretty good chance it looks, when redistricting happens in 2022, Nashville's not going to be in one congressional district anymore.
Pat, I'm so glad you're aware of this because that's actually what Democrats in Davidson County should be focused on, is keeping this seat for Nashville. It's very important that the state capitol have a voice, whoever represents the state capitol, and for the Republicans to pie slice Nashville and take away the seat from our capital city. It would be doing like what they did to Austin, Texas or Salt Lake City, Utah, but it would be deeply wrong for Tennessee. Nashville's always had a voice going back to Andrew Jackson, and it should not be stolen from the people.
Well, won't Nashville have more voices if you have 2 or 3 different congressmen representing this area?
But none of them would live here, and they'd all be beholden to their largely Republican constituency out in the ring counties or beyond. Nashville needs its own voice. Nashville's one of the most exciting, important cities in America. It needs its own voice because we lead this state in so many ways. We need to keep on leading this state.
Speaking of being voices divided, going back to the presidential race, it looks like your Democratic race to become your nominee gets more and more divided and heated all the time with this fight over can women get elected. Are you concerned the party's going to wind up with a weak candidate in November or a divided party in November?
Well, it's confusing and frustrating now, but remember last election, the Republicans had 17 candidates and they ended up winning. So we can win with a lot of candidates. It actually encourages the base to study this and get excited about it. Right now it's a little confusing before Iowa and New Hampshire, but I'm confident we'll come together.
Are you endorsing anybody particularly before the Super Tuesday vote here in early March?
Not so far. I'm taking a close look. I'm going to let the field sort itself out. There are a lot of good candidates running, and I think that we need to listen to all of them and pay close attention.
Your brother John has become the mayor of Nashville. You and I talked about that when he was in the runoff. You were concerned about some confusion that was already happening when he was the candidate. Now that he's mayor, has that confusion continued? Is it working out better or worse than you feared?
Well, voters are smart, and they're always right. At least a majority of them are. So right now it's gone pretty well. And John, more power to him. He's got a really hard job. Being mayor of Nashville is the toughest job there is. But being in Congress right now is no picnic either.
Well, you just passed a bill, the bipartisan bill, that allowed for family leave to be done for federal employees. That now led Governor Lee here to do it in Tennessee. That because of the competition for workers, now you have Mayor of Nashville looking at doing that. But he's got a lot tougher job to do that financially. Do you keep in mind now what you do here, the impact it might have on your brother down here?
Well, first, I'm very proud of the role that my committee, the Armed Services Committee, played in getting paid family leave for all federal workers. That's a very important reform and a huge advance in social progress. I'm proud that Governor Lee is trying to copy that. We've got to make sure that everybody is pro-family.
Congressman Cooper, thank you so much for being on the show, and congratulations on being a grandfather.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's the best thing that's happened.
And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics this weekend. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. The Zoo commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.